Dear younger and undiagnosed me, I know you're drowning and it feels like nobody understands. Your emotions are too big, you cry too much, you cry too loud. You love everyone so deeply, even if they hurt you. You seem to understand and empathize with everyone else, but you never get that in return. At least it doesn't feel that way. You explode with anger and frustration, and then you hate yourself for it. And you keep asking yourself, what is wrong with me? Hey friends, and welcome back to the Why Would I Say That podcast. It's your girl Tiara, and today I want to be talking to my younger self, my younger undiagnosed self. She was going through it, but I also know that like so many of you also need to hear this. When I make content in hopes to make the content that I needed when I was younger and going through this. My goal is to help other people with what I learned over time, but also go through it with you guys, because I feel like, me personally, I can't take advice from someone who didn't go through it. So like, here we are. Having borderline personality disorder, a lot of people will say that I got a diagnosis to excuse my behavior, or I'm looking for something wrong with me, or any of those things, but it really wasn't that. My diagnosis saved my life. I know BPD sounds dooming. I know BPD is scary. I know that there's so much stigma to it. But when I finally figured out what it was, I could deal with it because there's other people like me displaying the same symptoms, going through the same things. And it made me realize that I am not broken. I just operate differently. And I got to play that system and learn how to operate it. It's not that I want to be like, oh, I want to act any way I want and then be like, I have BPD and you can't tell me what to do. It's not that at all. I wanted to flip my life upside down and change it because it wasn't working. It was not working. And to be honest with you, I think it's very rare and far in between that people do go get a diagnosis to excuse their behavior. It happens, but I don't think anyone that is suffering that bad would be willing to go get help and then not get the help, you know? So I don't know. If you just got diagnosed with BPD and you think it's the most scary, dooming thing ever, please know that there's nothing happening to you. BPD is not knocking on your door today and it's like, I'm here now to make your life a living hell. Your life was already a living hell. That's why you're trying to figure this out, and you're getting answers and you're taking steps in the right direction to make yourself better. If you're new here and don't know what borderline personality disorder is, borderline personality is instability of moods, behaviors, and relationships. In order to be diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, you have to meet 5 out of the 9 criteria for borderline personality disorder. And those criteria include fear of abandonment, unstable relationships, unclear or unstable self-image, impulsivity, reoccurrent suicidal behaviors or suicidal ideation or self-harm, emotional instability, chronic feelings of emptiness, stress-related paranoia, and inappropriate and intense anger. You don't have to meet all the criteria in order to be diagnosed with BPD, but you do need 5 out of the 9. I will say, a lot of people will say, how do I get diagnosed? How would I know if I have BPD? You have to go to a medical professional because it's normal to be paranoid every now and then. It's normal to be scared that your friend's gonna leave you in a degree. Like it's okay to fear those things. Like those are normal people feelings. But the fact that they're in extreme, we feel them on a different emotional level than someone that's like normal. So it's normal to feel some of these feelings, but it's when it is rapid cycling, intense every day, and it is causing you to put a hold on your life and ruin your life. That's when we're leaning towards more of like, this is an extreme thing and it is BPD. When struggling with this and you don't have a word for it, you feel so misunderstood. You feel like you're never heard and you feel like nobody will ever get it. Even if they do get it, you don't feel like they do because you're feeling this big thing and you don't know how to like articulate that or like compute that. Like you don't have the language for it yet. When you're getting angry, you just think that you're angry and that you're not splitting. You just think that you're angry and you're standing your ground, and then you're confused on why people are looking at you like you're crazy when you're splitting, and everyone's looking at you as you're wrong, but it's your brain trying to protect itself, but there's no name for it. So now everyone's looking at you like you're crazy and you don't have a name for it, and you're just like, no, I feel this big thing, and you don't get it. And it's just a lot. Like it is a lot to be undiagnosed with BPD and literally not have a name for it. I was so confused, and I was doing the worst I've ever done in my life. I mean, obviously I was going undiagnosed with BPD and being crazy and not tending to it. I technically did get diagnosed young. I was diagnosed at around like 20. But I did know that I had it at around 16, but I chose to ignore it. But Before that, my life shambles. It was always in shambles. From the age of 12, I started to self-harm. I started to think about ending my life. I started partaking in risky things. I went from I'm not saying I was a straight A student. I wasn't that smart, okay? I wasn't. But I went from having A's, B's, and C's to getting D's and F's in all my classes. I went from never getting in trouble at school to being on the edge of expulsion of all 4 years of high school. 2 different panic attacks has put me in the hospital because they caused me harm. I never felt like I fit into a friend group. And if I did, I never felt like I belonged in it. Like I didn't feel like I would have this like second narrative in my head that like no one's here. Like you don't belong here. Everyone hates you. Blah, blah, blah. No one gets you. Blah, blah. So it was bad. And I was also serial dating and putting myself in bad relationships with bad people. Before the age of 18, I was dating someone in jail. And they were in jail. I hurt a lot of people that meant a lot to me. And I just put myself in so many situations that I thought was fine, and it is not fine. I can't even imagine being there again. But all I want to do for that girl is just hug her and hold her and like, you just don't get it yet, but you will and you'll get there. I do believe that everything happens for a reason, but like there was like no reason for that. I'm going to be honest. Like I'm here today and I'm so glad I went through all that, or I wouldn't be here talking to you guys. And I love you guys more than anything. So I'm so glad I went through everything. I just don't understand the reasoning behind all of that. I was just a nut. And it's so hard to tell, like, it's so hard to articulate the difference between having BPD and being diagnosed and like being undiagnosed and not having a name for it, and you don't know what's going on. You just hate your life, genuinely hate your life. And it feels like there's no escape, and it feels like a constant loop. You'll feel fine, and then you're not fine, and like really not fine, and then you feel really fine, and then you're not really fine, but you don't know what's going on. It is literal emotional whiplash. Even when you're diagnosed, you know you're being emotionally whiplashed, but it's not as in comparison to being undiagnosed and not knowing what's going on, because like you cannot compute that there's something going on. You just genuinely believe that your brain's broken and something is wrong with you. And even when I did first get diagnosed with BPD, I generally thought I would never fix this and be a normal person. I feel like I'm pretty normal. I mean, as normal as I can be. I don't think normal exists. We all got our things. We all got our red flags. We got our green flags. We got all the flags. Everybody does. But I do feel like I'm in a lot better place. But like in the past, oh my God. What was that? What was that? And if you have BPD, I feel like you'll get what I mean by this. I just haven't heard anyone talk about what it was like to be undiagnosed. Like you can't articulate anything and you just feel like you're actually going insane. So with the help of my little handy dandy little iPhone resource thing here, I wrote a letter to my younger self. How cute. The undiagnosed version of me. Thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this podcast. If you know me, you may know me as the girl with borderline personality disorder, or you might just know me as the emotional girl on your For You page. Either way, as someone with borderline personality who feels everything so intensely, it's hard to learn what emotions I'm even feeling, let alone how to react or to manage them. Therapy, especially learning DBT skills, have truly changed my life. DBT, which stands for Dialectical Behavioral Therapy, has given me the tools like mindfulness, distress tolerance, and emotional regulation. Those skills have helped me go from being completely controlled by my emotions to being able to manage them. The reason being, I can now understand my emotions, put them into words, and then share them with you. I know how scary that first step can be when you're in a time of emotional chaos. It can be easier to push them down or feel like you have to go through them alone, but you don't have to. Having a professional in your corner to help you understand what you're going through makes all the difference. If this sounds like you, I have been sponsored by BetterHelp to give you 10% off your first month. Use my code betterhelp.com/TiaraLorraine. BetterHelp is accessible to anyone, anytime, anywhere, making help more accessible than ever. Whether you prefer phone calls, text messages, video chats, all options are available to you so you can get the help that works best for you. Again, that's betterhelp.com/TiaraLorraine for 10% off your first month. Now, back to the episode. So here is the letter to myself. The younger self that I need to hear, that you might need to hear. Everybody needs to hear it. We just got to hear it. Dear me, I know you feel like you're drowning in your feelings and no one seems to understand. You cry too hard, you love too deeply, and you get angry out of nowhere and then hate yourself for it. You keep asking, what is wrong with me? Here's the truth. Nothing was wrong with you. You were just undiagnosed. You had borderline personality disorder and no one gave you the language to it. No one told you that your brain was wired to feel everything at 110%. You feel like your emotional wounds are on the outside of your body and they're just being poked and prodded over and over again. No one told you that you're not clingy. You fear abandonment because of trauma. You didn't know being too much was your nervous system screaming for help. It was screaming for safety. You hated yourself for the things you couldn't control. The impulsive texts, the crying spells, the emotional roller coasters. If you'd known you had BPD, you might have given yourself a little more grace. You might have stopped trying to fix yourself and started trying to understand yourself. And I wish someone had told you this. You are not broken. You are hurting. And healing is possible. If I could go back in time, I would sit on the bathroom floor with that girl that was once crying, not even like a few years ago, I feel like, and told her that you're not crazy. You're just overwhelmed. You're overwhelmed. And it's okay to admit that you need help. And if that's you right now, maybe this is your sign to stop blaming yourself and stop going in that cycle of fix myself, but you don't even know the answer to the problem yet. Start asking yourself new questions to see your behaviors as a symptom and not a flaw in character. I want you to know you did not ruin your life. You survived it without having the answers. If you're newly getting diagnosed, you're starting to get answers. You're starting to get tools. You are doing what you can to make yourself better, and it'll become easier over time as long as you allow it. You don't have to be fixed. You just have to learn how to carry all of this. And if you don't have the tools to carry it, of course it's going to burst out of your body. But just know, like, if you've been going through this for a long time, like, there's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to fix it. You just need to learn how to carry it. And I'm not saying like learn how to carry it in like a mean way. It's just like having these big emotions is a lot. And it's not that I hate being emotional. I actually like my emotions. I like my vulnerability. I like that I'm very transparent about emotions, but I didn't know how to carry that at one point. I now know where to put that energy and where not to put that energy, but it takes time and you don't need to fix it. You need to learn how to just manage it. I know that sounds crazy to someone that like is probably in the worst part of their life right now, but like once you live it, you realize it. Like you still feel the same. You still almost have the same symptoms. You just deal with it differently because you start to learn over time how to deal with it. But if you don't have the answers or the resources or the tools, it makes so much sense on why you feel the way that you do. I was there. I honestly used to blame myself so much for all my past behaviors. And I do have accountability. I'm my own person. Again, it's not the excuse of it was my BPD's fault, but because I was undiagnosed, those were symptoms of my BPD. Not necessarily my fault, kind of, but like it's not my fault. I didn't know. I genuinely didn't know when I didn't know how to react off these things and no one was teaching me. Now I'm teaching me and it's okay. I genuinely don't look at BPD as ruining my life. I looked at it as it saved my life. It gave me answers to my problems. And I've learned through it. I've been able to take way more accountability than I've ever had in my entire life. I'm still emotional, but I'm able to manage them a bit better. Do I still split and explode sometimes? Of course. I'm an emotional person. Doesn't excuse the behavior, but I'm learning. And the feelings don't feel as big because I'm giving myself grace and I'm not angry at myself for being broken and being like, you're broken. We can stop. You know, I'm like, I'm not broken. I feel a lot and that's fine. Some people don't feel anything at all. So like, there is no normal. This is just our normal and we have to learn how to be normal for what it is. And to anyone who relates to this, that is listening to this, maybe leave a comment down below what you would tell your younger BPD self, because you don't know who will come across that comment. I think it'll be so helpful to anyone that's watching or going through the comments, because I feel like this is what I would say to my younger self, but what would you say to your younger self? And if you're not comfortable sharing in the comments, you can definitely shoot me a DM. You can shoot me an email. You can shoot me anything. You can send it to me wherever you want to get a hold of me. I'm willing to listen and I get it. And it also helps me and it helps other people. I think, I don't know. We should share. You never know who's in the very beginning of their journey or just doesn't even know they have BPD, but they're starting to find the answers and they're really confused right now. You never know who can help. You really never know. But if you can drop it in the comments, I would really, really appreciate that. I love making my page a safe space where people can actually communicate and be nice to each other. Yes, every now and then do I get trolls? Yeah. But like, everyone gets trolls. Who cares? But I love making my account a safe space, and like all the comments, at least on my long form videos and my podcast, have been so amazing, so nice, so supportive, and I just like seeing you guys support each other in the comments. It like makes me feel like I'm actually building something bigger than myself, and I love that. I love the community. I love the idea of like I love it. I really do love it. And people need people. And I just want to be a representation of that and to show you that it's okay to ask for help, bounce ideas off other people. It's okay to talk about the uncomfortable things, because if you don't talk about them, they will remain uncomfortable and you can't get through it. So if you are comfy, if you're comfy enough, I'm not like holding it under your head and be like, comment. But like, if you would like to share, I would really appreciate that. I know this episode isn't really long. I just really wanted to share this with you guys, and I think it'll be super helpful to whoever's listening or just recently going through something like this. Like that was the hardest time of my life. Being undiagnosed, in my opinion, was way harder than being diagnosed. In my opinion, I really don't know if everyone else feels that way, but I do, and I just wish I could just like reach for my younger self's hand and be like, come on, girl, we got this. I got all the answers now that I'm older, but like I had to wait a few years, you know? So seriously, thank you guys so much for being here. We just recently hit 10,000 subscribers. And I'm transparent. My platform is now monetized, and it's all because of you. I'm going to pass out and die. It's actually hot in here, so kind of. But I just want to thank you guys so much for that. Like, we're hitting milestones. We're growing this community. And, like, this was a dream of mine at one point. And we're doing it. And it's because of you guys. And I can't thank you enough. I love you guys more than anything in the world. Here's the 10K. Mwah, mwah. I love you guys so freaking much. Seriously, thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys for always supporting me, always understanding me, and just sharing your own journeys, your own stories. And if you're a silent watcher, thank you for also being here. I see you. I mean, I don't really see you, but like, I know you're there. I know you're watching, and I love you and I appreciate you. And where I'm at today, not even from the whole social media standpoint, like mentally, emotionally, all of that, you guys have taught me so much. If I didn't start doing this podcast, I wouldn't have learned as much as I have about my own disorder. I probably want to stay as up to date on my symptoms because I'm not trying to like be a nutcase on here for you guys. You guys saved my life, and I mean that with my entire heart. I mean it with everything in me, and I just need you to know that I love you, and I can't thank you. I just can't stop saying thank you. Like, I can't thank you enough. And I always want to remind you that I'm also just a girl. If you ever have a dream of doing something like this, you want to share a story, start talking about something, pick up that camera and do it. Do it. It is the best decision I've ever made in my life. And I want you to know, no matter who you are, what you look like, what you got going on, your location, if you got one follower, all the followers, it doesn't matter. Start doing it. It can happen. Your dreams can happen. And I genuinely didn't think dreams could happen. I have BPD. I don't have really many dreams. The fact that I'm building this and you guys it's all because of you. So thank you. It's literally because of you. I didn't think any of this was ever possible, or I would create something like this. So like, believe in yourself. I don't care who you are or what you got going on. Always remind yourself to believe yourself, because shoot, if I can do it, you definitely can. So if you got an idea going on, do it. Just do it. You never know how much like it can change your life. Even if it's not in like some grand way that you thought it would be. You guys changed my life mentally, emotionally, I guess some ways physically. Like, you guys have really changed my life, and I love you guys. And thank you for always being here. Thank you for always supporting me. And yeah, I'm done thanking you now. You're probably just like, Tara, stop saying thank you. Shut the up. I know. I'm sorry. But yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to give this a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you're not missing an episode every single Friday. And if you're listening on podcast, make sure to give it a 5-star review. Let's keep building this community. When you write me a little review, tell me why you're here. Tell me what you like. Shoot, I guess be honest. Tell me what you don't like so I can critique. But if there's nothing to critique, I guess I'm not critiquing. I don't know. But yeah, I love you guys more than anything in the world. Again, thank you. And until next Friday, I love you guys.